Hi. Lisa, I want to thank you very much, and I appreciate the opportunity to come back again today. Before I do my general presentation, when I start my opening, I just want to, in front of you, just thank Lisa once again. I know some of you heard me speak the last time that you were here, but I just want to let you know that as the former chairman of the AICPA, when I was the chairman, I served on the board with Lisa for several years and was very much involved with her. And she really is a treasure, and you all should understand that, because we're an organization of 377,000 CPAs. Any issues we ever had on pensions, all of us always turn to Lisa to get her advice. So her expertise, her professionalism, we look to her. So you're all very lucky to have her as someone here that you work with. When I do become the governor in January of 2015, I will always call Lisa with any issues we have with our pensions, because we have severe problems with our pensions. And so Lisa, I guarantee you, I'll be calling you back. So there's no free lunch, even me coming here. I'll be calling you back for the rest of your career and my career. I need you by my side, so thank you very much for everything. And Betty, I don't know if she's still in here, but I saw her this morning. I got down early. She deserves that award too, because she was doing a lot of work, and I felt bad for her because they were actually vacuuming and doing all the work, changing the tablecloths when she was trying to get this thing going. But I'm going to start with my presentation. The way I always do my whole career, I tell everyone this is my business card. It's the same like yours and mine. It has my name and title in the front, but the most important part is what's on the back. On the back of my business card, my core values. They're integrity, reliability, independence, and accountability. And you can hold your finger over the bottom three, the top one's integrity, because without integrity, then the words that come out of my mouth and the words in my reports would be absolutely useless. I've done that my whole career, and I tell everyone it's the most important thing. And if everyone just thought about that and had core values, and hopefully integrity is one of them, if you think about it, if every day before you did an action, you just ask yourself, what I'm about to do right now, is that in alignment with my core values? If it is, go forward and do it. If it's not, ask yourself, why am I about to do something that goes against everything I stand for? And if there's more people that were doing that, there'd be less people apologizing to their family, their friends, their community for their actions. I've done it my whole career. I will continue to do it the rest of my life. That's who I stand, that's what I stand for. So now I'll start with the depressing part. I'm going to talk to you today about the federal government deficit. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about state and local government deficits, the same like I talked to you before. And I only wish, for those of you that were here the last time, 5 years ago, I could come back and tell you, number one, I was wrong. Number two, it was better, that it's better today. Number one, so I'll say, number one, I wasn't wrong. Number two, it's a lot worse than it was 5 years ago. And what I've come to realize is that not only do we have federal deficits, we have trade deficits, we have structural deficits. What I've come to realize is the largest deficit of all is we have a leadership deficit. And the people that are in charge and making decisions are not addressing this very serious problem, a problem that we're going to pass on to our children and grandchildren, and it's an absolute shame that we're doing that. It's another reason why being here today, you know, Lisa really is more of a visionary person, because I do presentations all over the world, certainly in every state in the United States, but Lisa's the only one that does it from the pension perspective, invites me to do this presentation for you. And when I look at it, if our federal government doesn't fix this problem, it's going to come right down to the citizens. So if they don't plan for their retirement and they're relying upon their government, well, as I've been telling people, the golden goose is dying. And we're not going to be able to get all the things that were promised to us because it's just purely unsustainable. And so we're going to have to take care of ourselves. And that's why you all play such a valuable role in doing this, to make sure that there is a retirement plan for employees. Because I'm not so sure our government's going to do the right thing to get it done. And if they do, it may be at a point when it's too late. And the reason why I say that is because, think about it, we have a presidential election coming up in a short time. Do you see anybody talking about this deficit and how they're going to solve it? We don't really see it. And the main reason why you don't see it is because the race seems like it's pretty close. When you go to fix this problem, you will create enemies, you will create people that will be upset with what you have to say in order to fix it. And so if that's going to happen, nobody wants to alienate those voters who haven't made a decision yet. So they don't want to do that. We also have this period from November to, after the election, no matter who wins, we have this period from November to December, which, first of all, I don't think anything's going to happen between now and November election. Definitely not, because it could impact the election. So that's not going to happen. From November to December, before either the new president gets in or the president gets in again, there'll be a new Congress, regardless. Who knows whether people address the problem between November and the end of December? Because there's two trains of thought there. One is, just pass it off to the new Congress when it comes in and let them deal with it. We haven't dealt with it up to date. Why don't we just move it over to them? The other one is, why don't we just get it fixed between November and December, and then we can blame the previous Congress for whatever took place. I don't know which track they're going to take. I just came back from DC 2 weeks ago, speaking with the leadership and many people there. There's a lot of people saying they really believe it'll be done between November and December, that they will actually fix this, so we don't have to go into the sequestration period, because if you think about that, was really designed to be a worst case scenario, would never take place. But it looks like it may take place unless they fix it. So I'm going to go through slides and give you some information. But before I go through my slides, I just want to tell you, here's a high level 30,000 foot view. Look at the United States financial statements, and I just want, can someone just tell me, I think 11:10 is when I end. Is that the time? I just want to know the end. But is it 11:10 or is it 11? 11:30. Okay. Because I just once in a while glance so I know where to go. I can jump right to the end anytime. So here's what I want to tell you. Federal government financial statements. It ends September 30th. You look at their financial statements, the total assets are about $2.7 trillion. That sounds wonderful. It's a great number. We all know that's only part of the story. You look at on the liability side, you'll hear numbers thrown around all across the country that it's around 16 or 17 trillion dollars. That is not true. The 16 or 17 trillion dollars, that is the number that's on the financial statements, but we have to remember that the federal government passes laws that apply to everyone else but not to themselves. And in doing that, they do not include all the liabilities on their financial statements. If in fact, you put all the liabilities of the United States government onto the financial statements, which are absolutely not there, you will actually have about a $62 trillion deficit. Not 16, $62 trillion. Now, David Walker, the former Comptroller General, now is the CEO of Come Back America Initiative. I'm on their board of directors. So right now we have David Walker on a bus, traveling around the country, talking about this deficit. Going to all locations, wherever the president and Governor Romney go, wherever they're making presentations, this bus is going and telling people about, it's called a $10 million per minute tour. And that's because every minute of every day, our government is spending $10 million more than they're taking in. Just giving the message about what the deficit is. So, I told David at one of the meetings, I said, we can't tell people, we can tell them the deficit's $62 trillion, but that's not really going to help us solve the problem, because as we all know, that's a number most of us don't deal with in our life. Maybe Lisa when she's bouncing a checking account or something, but for most of us, we don't deal with $62 trillion. So I said, we have to find a way to get it down to per person so people can relate to what that number is. So the number per person for every one of us in this room is $212,000 per person. So I tell everyone, that's a mortgage without a house. That's how much each one of you owe just on the federal government deficit. I'm not talking your state, I'm not talking the city or town you live in, I'm talking about just the federal government debt. So $212,000. I told the group this morning, I say it many times, I've become so skeptical. I've been talking about this for so long that I go to see my friends when they have children. You ever go and you see the nursery with all the little babies in there? They're all so beautiful. I'm like, this is great. But I look at them now and I see each one with the sticker on their head. They owe $212,000, these poor little kids. You know, they were just born, they owe 212 grand because all of us in the generation before us spent more than what they took in and passed on our debt to them. You can go back and you can look at testimony I've given over my career. I always end with, if you don't fix this problem, let's stop sending our children and grandchildren birthday cards and Christmas cards. Let's just send them invoices and be honest with them. We're passing on our debt to them. Let's just tell them the truth. But why don't we just fix it? That'd be a good idea, wouldn't it? So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through and give you more information about how our government has gone in the wrong direction and they're not addressing it. And if in fact they don't address it, we will become the next Brazil, the next Iceland, the next Greece. And I'm telling you something right now. No one, no other country is going to come and help us. It's just not going to happen. The United States goes out and helps everyone else. But when we fall, don't expect someone to come and help us. We're going to have to fix it ourselves. And we all have the skill set to fix it. But we just need to fix it. And many things I tell people when I do my presentation, I've seen all over the country, that for the most part, we are to blame too as citizens, because we want progress without change. Fix the problem, don't affect my life. Fix the problem, don't affect my community. And I know for a fact, I've seen my friends, and I said it this morning, I'll say it again many times from this point forward, because it just happened 3 days ago, that for all of us, when I do my presentation, I said, it comes down to this. For politicians in office, and anybody running for office, a good financial decision and a good political decision butt heads many times. The right thing to do financially will probably be the end of your political career. And the right thing to do financially would probably make someone else be even a quality candidate who's telling the truth. So we have to understand that there are good financial decisions that need to be made, and there's this conflict. And who's to blame? Us too. Because we don't really care. If you think about it, when someone comes to our home and says they're running for city council or they're running for the school committee and we want that new school built, we tell them build a school. And when they say, well, we don't have the funds, the next thing you say, you figure it out. I want the new school. We need a new school. This one's falling apart. We need a new baseball field. We need a new soccer field. Get the money. But when they go and borrow the money, they're passing on that debt to the next generation. So we have to look at what we're doing in our own mind. So all of us played a role in this. When I go through this, I'm telling you about my friend running for Congress. About 3 days ago, he's 8% behind in the polls. When I left, I heard in the news he's in front of an elderly nursing home and elderly center, telling everyone that he promises he will not touch Social Security, he will not touch Medicare. He's desperate now because he wants to win. He will not touch them. I think anybody who signs a document saying in advance that they will not do something, that is not exercising leadership. Because what happens when you get in and the facts prove that you're wrong? You're a liar when you go against it, or you're going to be committed to this and you're going to sell our country down the river. So they shouldn't make these kind of statements, but they do it all the time. 15 years as the Auditor General, I used to call this time of the year silly season. I tell you, when I became a CPA, because technically I thought that was a great profession to be in, it's pretty simple. Here's the formula. Revenue minus expenses is surplus or deficit. I can handle that one. I'm going to go in that profession. But watch now, you can watch any ad going on. You got people running for office and they're saying, I'm going to cut taxes, I'm going to increase services. And I'm like, okay, well I drop it in my formula, that's a deficit. But they still say, we're going to have a surplus. Or I'm going to cut taxes and I'll just keep services the same. Or I'm going to keep taxes the same and I'm going to increase services. I go, no, when you drop in that formula, it's still a deficit. But they don't get it, and we just buy it all the time. We need to challenge them more. So let's walk you through this pathway.